Welcome in, everybody. Another week, another episode of Set 2 and Pass. This week, we have a special treat. We have Donny with us. If you guys didn't know, which you probably don't know because I haven't said it yet, we have a TCG team, specifically for Yu-Gi-Oh! We are Team Set 2 Pass. We're heading down to a YCS here that's November, right? Pittsburgh. So Donnie's going to sit here with us tonight, and we're going to do some deck building, because depending on how this goes and the format goes from now till November, which is a pretty big push, honestly, I hope this is still relevant.
I would hope.
But, yeah, so sit in, guys, and we're going to go into it. Right now, we are currently going over my Fiendsmith Odeon deck. And for those that don't know, Fiendsmith is a very splashable engine in this game right now. It works with almost anything, makes you a bunch of light fiend monsters, some negates. If you play it like I do, which most people don't, it's not the right way, I will admit. If you're running the new fusion, Fiendsmith's Rex Tremende, while it works sometimes, and when it does, it is hilarious, because it is a Fusion Towers monster. It doesn't work very good all the time, and then I just sit there like, I just wasted my Desiree and my sequence for nothing.
Or absolutely, unfortunately.
And sometimes it just gotta be like that.
Yeah.
But, I guess we'll go over the list that I had before we actually started discussing this earlier. But for the most part here, it is, we are also going to be talking about Malice tonight. Because Donnie and I are both Malice players. I'm just taking a quick break from it for right now, because I was waiting for the new support, which really I just have to wait now for my boxes to come in and hope that I pull it.
Yeah, pulling all three backup soldiers, backups.
Yeah. Dude, do you realize how much out of Inside Alliance I'm trying to pull? Too much.
I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot for one duelist. One duelist from another. If you're gonna gamble responsibly.
Yeah, for sure.
Because
you can wrap money up in this seriously, and if you're not committed, that can be such a serious kick in the balls.
Yeah. So before this recording, he originally bought his boxes for, what was it, 67, 60, close to 70.
About $68.
About $68, rounded up to 70. They went down to 57, so you could buy them fairly cheap at the moment of this recording.
And this is May 1st. 2025 that we are saying this.
Yes.
At about, what time is it about?
It is
probably really late. About 10:44 p.m. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, so what we have cooked for you fellers and ladies tonight is, again, like I said, Fiendsmith Odeon. We are running 3 Man with the Mark. Obviously, he's the big guy. He's your main search of the deck.
He is the core of your deck.
Like, he's the heart and soul. He can search you the field spell, any of the traps that are Apophis related, and also the new counter trap Verdict of Anubis, which we'll get to here in a second, because that card's dirty.
It's a game changer, for sure.
Which is actually... thought about bumping that to 2, and I think I should.
I'm indifferent.
But I don't mind it at 1 either.
I think it's comfortable at 1. If you're putting 2 in, you're seeing it more possible.
Yeah, you're right. You're so right, actually. But then we're running 3 Anubis, the Last Judge. This is an Earth Fiend. There is a Fiend in here.
There is a Fiend.
He's just not the right level for that.
I mean...
Shit, I'd I'd have been alright if they made him the fairy.
But if you take into accounting for it, if he's still a fiend, you can still run a bow.
I can still run a bow.
Yep.
Might have to do that. Because that's not a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since we're already running fiends.
Yeah, Fiendsmith this, Fiendsmith that. I mean, a bow is just like the cherry on top of the cake until we get more support, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if she was a light fiend, it would be all fucking travesty.
You know what she looks like, though? Quem.
Quem?
Quem,
yep. No,
I don't remember the full name of the card.
This is Guiding
Quem?
Yeah, Guiding Quem.
They look very similar.
They do look very similar. It looks like if we're going based on lore or something, she went down for whatever reason.
You know, speaking of lore, I just realized something this week, and it was off of a playmat that I saw an advertisement.
It wasn't the inside play.
No, this was a custom Malice playmat. It was sick. Basically, the middle of the mat, it had the Malice in the Mirror. Ooh. It had that artwork. But then it had, like, in the little hexagons, like, for the cybernetic cyburst part of it, it had the Link monsters over here on the right side, and all three of your mains, well, your OG mains, on the left side.
Right.
But they were corresponding to each other. Dormouse is Red Ransom. Chessie is White Binder. And Rabbit is Cryptor.
Yeah, I can kind of see that.
Like, actually, like, we have the cards here to do the comparison. I'm sorry you guys can't see this, but
imagination goes wild.
Oh, it does. But, alright, you see them all right there.
Yeah.
Because they're all basically posed the same as they are.
Yeah.
Except for Chessie. Because Chessie's, like, on a computer, but that is definitely Ransom.
I see it. I definitely see it. It's, they're all pale skin.
Well, actually, I'm sorry. We don't have rabbits to compare.
Well.
But you do!
I'm just the fucking king of cards around here.
Yeah.
Card daddy, actually.
This is Card Daddy Donny. But yeah, but anyway, so, yeah.
I kind of,
right there.
I see it.
Mm-hmm.
Cryptor, you said she was
Cryptor.
I kind of actually,
I can actually, we'll lay him out later.
Yeah.
But, Anubis, back to the Fiendsmith Odeon. Anubis is a good search. He can search your man with the mark, but he also has an inherent summon effect that's good from hand or grave. You have to have three cards in your graveyard that are different names, but all mention Temple of King. Then what you can do is you can target 2 traps that are in your graveyard. You pick whichever order you want. You put him on the bottom of the deck, and he special summons himself to the field. And then he also has the effect where if any of my trap cards are destroyed, except during the damage or the battle phase, he can target 1 card on the field and destroy it.
Which, for the folks at home that are still learning Yu-Gi-Oh! Timings and everything, actually just more so based on rules. Is it really battle phase?
It's either battle phase, it might say damage step actually. Now, not that he doesn't prevent the activation, it's just when it is activated.
So,
is whenever, you know what I mean?
So, you're wrong on both parts.
Yeah.
It is neither. So, if a trap, or I guess in this case, since you're special summoning a lot of the Apophis monsters, which there's other cards in the deck that can special summon themselves as traps and such.
Yeah.
If one of them are destroyed by card effect or just, I guess, by battle, it is a trigger effect for Anubis to pop 1 card on the opponent's side.
Oh, yeah, I did say activate.
Yeah.
I did not say trigger.
Yeah.
Thank you for calling me on that.
No, you're good.
Because there is a big... This game, text means everything.
It is long.
Like, you honestly... I thought about this on the way home the other day. I was sitting at a red light in town.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what? You really honestly have to be, like, very up on your grammar.
Mm-hmm.
Like, your grammar level needs to actually be a little advanced.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to, you have to go off the semicolons.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot, sometimes it'll say when, sometimes it'll say if you did this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a lot to the text of this game that needs to be understood.
I had to learn the hard way because I was playing. It was like my third time at locals. I was playing Labyrinth, which was very not necessarily dominant. It was very good in the format that it was in. Before
Did it ever get bad though?
Did it ever get bad? No. Did it get more support or more so generic side support? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in the long run, yeah. But the thing about Labyrinth is like it's playing chess, as so I've been told plenty of times. I've never been good at chess. However, in a game where strategy is everything, your timing must be just about on point.
Yep.
It's very difficult to navigate the deck. However,
you almost have to navigate your opponent's deck too.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm not saying you have... Obviously, you're not going to know every single card in their deck. But after a while, you should. I feel like you should pick up on, like, okay, like, he doesn't have anything else in hand. There's a Ryziel duo drive on field. What are you going to do? You don't imperm that bitch.
No, you just blow it.
Well, that too. But I'm just saying, if you only have, like, their turn, the only thing in your hand is imperm, or, maybe it's their first turn or something. Just imperm it there if that's all you have. The snow ogre would be there.
I've thought about a lot with and how to play cards. When I was playtesting, this was even before the cards actually got released properly. Me and Brick just put like a bunch of cards and sleeves backwards, but with
proxies.
Yeah, little proxy, basically.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with proxying until either stuff comes out or I'm sorry, but game's expensive. Like, honestly, expensive. If somebody rolled up here at one of our card nights and was like, "Hey man, I need to proxy this," and they had like some shitty proxy, I ain't complaining.
Yeah, it could be as easy as printing the card out on paper and cutting it out, putting it in.
Yeah, putting it in a sleeve, what have you. Like, for, just casual play with your friends, that I'm never, ever going to say anything. Well, I will say it like, I mean, if they don't catch you at a locals, I'm saying already, I'm not like, I'm still whatever at a locals level, kind of.
Yeah.
But a regionals level and above, like, fuck you, I'm sorry, but I'm calling your ass out. I'm gonna be like, look, nah, judge, and then I'm gonna say it with my whole chest again.
Judge.
And make the whole room look at me, which, by the way, was like 750-some people that day.
Was it?
Yeah. That first regionals we went to, it was like 750-some people.
Regionals was a culture shock. To most of us except for, because he's been many regionals.
Well, it was your first, mine, Mike's.
Was it Mike?
Yeah, it was Mike. Mike's never been to a local.
Really?
His first Yu-Gi-Oh event was a regionals.
He skipped. He skipped a step in there.
Dude, he really did. And he even had a judge tell him to he saw he was playing Tenpai, looked at him and said, "Just please unsubscribe."
Yep.
I was like, dude, no way.
That's rough. The worst part about it.
The
worst part about it was like, and I felt bad for him. I get it. Tenpai was basically still just about tier 1-ish.
Well, no, that was after regionals. In January, Chandra was at 1. It was after it got hit again.
Was it? No. Was it at time? Or was it? It couldn't have been. It still had to be at least. No, it wasn't. Never mind.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I'm trying to remember. No, I felt bad. Like
I felt bad too.
his two starters, which is Dora and Pedro.
Yeah.
If they get negated in any way, you just sit there and say, "Well, at least I tried."
Yeah. Yeah. It basically just turned the deck into a glass cannon,
and that's what it is. But like, if you don't have the right hand traps and you don't have your timings correct, you kind of shit.
or if you're an asshole like me and you play level 1 Exceed monsters that are unaffected by everything,
No,
that card needs a serious rarity upgrade.
does, and I'm surprised it didn't get Hidden Stampede. If it's not now, it probably won't be ever.
You know,
Unless it was rare in some collector thing.
we could still see it in a tin, maybe, or something. Just as like a throw in. You know how they just throw random shit in there sometimes.
Random, maybe. But some cards were really good for like how they did Vanquish Soul. They went from Ultra. Well, a few of them. Like the main starters have got
Just a common.
What?
Kinkachi Fucho.
Oh, Fucho.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Fucho Bird.
It's kind of
It is.
honestly. And Snake Eyes ran it the Tenpai. Oh yeah, the Tenpai format mixed in with Snake Eyes.
Yeah.
Which
That was that was a tough format. And I'm only saying that because that was like my first probably official format that I wasn't just playing at home.
yeah. Yeah, it was hard going from fighting against Drew with his rescue ace, his dead annihilated. But it came Airlifter came back to 3, so you know what my happy ass did? I put the deck. What I do? Didn't take it to locals. I went against Rick with it, and I was like, it doesn't feel as strong as it once was. Whatever he was playing. But I was the main reason.
He changed decks like 3 times that format. Because I remember at one time he was playing like
Raid Raptors.
well, yeah, and then
They got
well, he topped with it.
he talked with it. Yeah, any like random deck that kind of comes out and it like kind of piques his interest. He has like at least decent top, but any
All
like
bird decks.
all bird decks.
He
Yeah.
has topped with Flu, topped with Raid Raptors. And what's the other bird deck he played? So really,
I haven't heard anything about Zerek.
Lyrilusk.
Literalist, sorry.
Dude, that deck is
It's another. I heard it's supposed to get like
oh yeah, that's what Luna Lights is what he's after. Dude, I haven't played against that deck since like Duel Links days, right? Dude, that was back whenever I was running Shiranui.
but it's not strong. It's strong. It might be a little bit strong in there, but however, with the upcoming format and it's getting the deck might take a turn. It might take a turn either for the worst or it might be just like dead center middle. Like you ain't topping twice yet. And I felt the same way about Sharks though. I thought I'm gonna take Sharks to YCS. And what happened right after the ban list? I cried. Bahamut Shark was the main combo piece and extender. My personal thoughts: Toad should have been banned. That was the main problem with Mermail because Mermail did use Bahamut.
I'm honestly surprised Toad hasn't been banned.
I'm pretty sure it was banned at a certain point.
It was.
But came off the list.
Mm-hmm.
But getting rid of Bahamut hurt.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I think this current ban list, I think it was one of the harshest I've ever seen.
I feel like
they basically made 2 decks idle for a minute because nobody really knew what to do with Malice until the support came out.
I never felt that way. I was like, I mean, it's deserved. To be honest, if you look at the OCG list that came out a little bit before our Dormouse is at 1. So hitting
holy shit.
Hitting just about every starter, I wouldn't necessarily say Rabbit was a starter. Dormouse was the main starter.
Yeah, Dormouse.
If you see
Dormouse and Underground.
Dormouse and Underground, it goes like either way.
They're hand in hand. I mean, if you're starting with Underground, you're sending Dormouse.
It's more so, I look at it as if you open up with the fields, that's basically saying if you had Dormouse and Allure of Darkness. It was basically on activation. It's a very strong card. You do nothing else with the field spell and applies other stuff. Like on activation, you ban.
Yeah.
And that's what's stuff.
Yeah. See, the reason I would say that Underground is definitely a starter, mostly because I like it because then you're not using a normal one. Just in case you need it. You know what I mean?
I see the picture, but at the same time, you are forced to go through the splash. Which, at the
you
time...
can still do Haggard.
You can, but you ain't doing much. To be honest.
No,
if you just use its effect to target itself, banish, all this other nonsense, it's basically just a draw. Because it's a reptile of its own.
Yeah, see, basically what I would do, just a quick summary, Underground, send Dormouse, effect, summon, Dormouse effect, descend, effect, blah blah, set TB11 off Rabbit, because that's who you're sending. Then I would go into Mage, summon back whichever one, because it doesn't matter.
As long as it was inside.
Yeah. As long as, which at that point, those are the only 2 you should have in green off that start.
You should, yeah.
So then Link 3 into Ransom effect to add the spell, which grab another copy of the field spell
at the time, at the current moment.
Yes. Then I would activate TB11, banish Ransom, summon Chessy Cat, and then I would summon back the Ransom, which would then let me banish the Cyberse. So go Dotscaper,
yeah.
Dotscaper effect to summon itself, go into Decoder, which we don't have anymore. Rip
Decoder.
But then I would go into Binder.
With all 3.
Yep, with all 3.
With the way I showed you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then I would banish TB11 and Chessy Cat off of Binder.
Yeah, because you haven't got it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So then summon the Chessy back.
Yep.
Activate Chessy effect because you can't do it when it's summoned off of TB11.
Right, because its effects are negated. Yep. I almost forgot about that.
Yeah. So then, like I said, then you get your draw 2. And Decoder effect will happen in there too. So you'll have
2 more bodies to return.
Yeah. And then you just go into Terahertz.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no. I lied. Before you go into Terahertz, because I have forgotten this way too many times.
Mm-hmm.
Activate Binder effect, and then set GWC.
With the current format, or with the current ban list that we're given, and cards haven't been released off of Inside, without knowing what comes in play, it's a little different to use. Now, with the current support, GWC still has its main function, but you do have to work around a few things. It's because I've opened up with all the traps in one hand, and I said, well, I don't know what I do from here.
Opening up all the traps.
Depressing.
That is such
But with the caveat of you only running one of, it's if you really do open with all three, Rabbit is dead. But she's still a body on the field, regardless. If you think.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, the effect is nice too with the monsters that point to her.
Yeah.
Which in play testing has actually saved me on EDO.
Yeah. So, normal combo without getting up. What I usually do instead of splash, because I want to say if I open up with the field spell, I'm going to want the field because it is an extended zone. It allows you to banish from, I remember, hand, deck, or graveyard. I'm not sure if it does field either, but that graveyard is very important for white pine to come back, draw you another card. I mean, you've drawn cards like crazy.
Yeah. It's honestly, it's kind of... Malice is the reason that Talons got hit.
Is it, though?
If you think about how much drawing that deck already does, and then at the end somebody plays something, Talons. Draw 2 more cards.
I mean, if we're talking about just draw power in general, I don't feel like Talents got hit because of Malice.
No, it actually, I think it got hit more so on a realistic note because of either Mermails or the effect to take.
I mean,
for the turn.
There's that, but you're hand ripping yourself going guard.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, even if they somehow if they misplayed or something or you did hit them with a hand trap at the end of their loop, and then they're just like, oh, okay, well, let me see your hand. Talents.
Yeah. I mean, all decks eventually have the caveat of getting this generic spell in their deck. Like everybody was running. It was either at 2, at 3, at 1 at some point because people thrust.
I was gonna say it was either that or thrust.
I personally ran thrust too. I didn't have one inside at all because it was
I never saw it as useful at 3. I thought it was too much at
3. Too much isn't too bad, but if you're searching for a certain card, which Malice has plenty of what I was you have a lot of normal spells and traps that you can easily search. Like if you knew you were going up against Ryzio, if you're going up against Ryzio and somebody hand trapped you and you're not going to get as far with a strong enough board, if you get the bodies on field with strong enough attack, you're going to make it because you just thrust, D-barrier, have it set because they don't control them all.
Yeah. I loved thrust. Because let me tell you how many times I set Mimical a room off of thrust. And then was just like, thank you. It's like, okay, you ashed my giant Mimical that I was going to search that card for. Thrust.
And that's what I enjoyed most about Dark. Because them getting Jen and Ken, it doesn't matter which it's some card.
Honestly, I never thought that Danger or Dark World I never thought that deck needed to be hit. it is strong for sure. Like, it is a super strong build. But I never thought it was like over the top, like craziness.
It's with the right player. And I'm not talking about myself because I have misplayed. I forgot how to do X, Y, and Z. Get somebody is on board. Go for game. It's more so they did get hit. Indirectly, I should say, because at the time Firewall was not a once return or once while on field. It was a quick, effective return a monster to the hand as long as something pointed inside. Which, it wasn't a once return, regardless. Because if you can hand move the shit out of your opponent, you will, and most players. But
it's happened to me at regionals.
Yeah. One thing I haven't seen that Rick did send a picture was
that actually supposed to come out in Alliance?
Yeah.
I forgot about that card.
So for the folks at home, if you haven't been keeping up with the newest set for Alliance, there was a leak about
January, like late January into early February, some that kind of time frame.
A buddy of mine had sent me a card. It was Ash, but this Ash Blossom is very specific on how it works. If a trap is activated from the hand, it's basically a trap negation, like an actual hand trap.
Yep.
You basically discard it, negate the activation. You go on with your life. It's a secondary copy of Ash Blossom that just works.
Well, especially there's a lot of things evenly. Imperm, the Dominus cards, which there are 3 of them now.
All 3 of them. One can search.
Like there's 5 major problems that card deals with.
Yeah.
But is this one going to be treated like, or is this just in my opinion, the new Psy-Frame Gear Gamma?
Is it the new Psy-Frame Gear Gamma?
Because if you think about it, Gamma was like the start of it.
Yeah.
It was good and not good, depending on what you were playing, because of this summoning like Driver. Like a lot of times, a lot of decks couldn't utilize anything.
Yeah.
Like, I forget what I was playing at the time, but they were basically, it was Virtual World. Mm-hmm. They were basically, there were bodies for the rest of the turn that were in defense, but then came Crossout Designator. Mm-hmm. Which, honestly, I thought Crossout, man, that was probably my biggest bitch of this ban list.
See, where a card get hit, I was sad about Crossout being to 1.
Yeah, I think it's unnecessary, to be honest.
Well, now just everything runs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, some decks, like Crossout, was like the only thing keeping them even semi-relevant. You know, like, because, I mean, if you look at Malice again, you have 1 card to protect you from Nib now.
But that's where I see, or people mention to me, hey, since this card got hit, why not try this? You know? And that's where a lot of normal, older cards actually start to shine.
See, I do like when that happens, too. I like to see, like, a good revolving format. Mm-hmm. Like, honestly, our current format, I think it's healthy.
I
as much as I hated some of the shit that happened on the ban list, I think this is a very healthy and creative format. Because I'm seeing decks I haven't seen forever. And if you honestly think about it, this is kind of funny. The new Exodia stuff, it's still pretty competitive right now. I'd say more of a rogue tier. Mm-hmm. But if you look at the very first episode of Yu-Gi-Oh, Kaiba was playing the meta, and Yugi was playing a rogue deck that he got from his grandpa. That's the current state of our meta, and nobody's addressing this.
Well, see, the problem there is Kaiba is still meta as of right now. Because
dude, that's one of the top decks right now.
If you ain't playing Primite, you're doing it wrong. But there's other caveats.
I've seen some Invoke Blue Eyes builds going around that are. I would be pretty salty if they popped off against me.
I'm still trying to look for other two. Have one. Where are the other two? I have no idea. I thought I slotted them into binders. Apparently not. I can't tell you how many times I've went through so many of my binders just to be like, it's gotta be there. I've gotta have misplaced it somewhere. All my spells I have stacked up boxes and stuff. I'm like, where is this thing? But yeah, I'm building Invoke Blue Eyes. And I haven't beat.
Well, I want to see it whenever it's done.
If I can.
There is always that possibility. The only invoked card I've actually ever played was Kaliga.
It's the fire.
I can't remember. I don't think he's fired. He might be, but I don't quite remember. He's the one where your opponent's only allowed to activate, I think, 1 or 2 effects that turn, like monster effect.
I know the art just by the name, but it's I can't remember. But if it does that, that's hilarious. If not,
now you know what's even funnier is what deck it. That's my virtual one. So instead of fusing into Dragoon off of that Tzolk'in combo, you just go into Invoke Kaliga turn 1.
I mean, you can still do that. Both is.
Oh yeah, it's still great. It's just I found there's been a lot more stuff that I feel like is more beneficial to that deck specifically. Especially like whenever I hold people up for 2 hours in a chaos match because the only engine I pull out of that deck is Bell.
You can get on the deck for that?
Dude, that was such horse shit.
It's such horse shit. It allows you just to survive until that card is popped. And if that card's popped, do something.
And then I get it back anyway.
Yeah.
Like 9 times out of 10, it's just... Now I have the whole pure deck. So... Minus a few cards that I'm still picking up here and there. I still gotta... We might look at that later tonight, too. Actually, we might... We never even finished this one.
Yeah. Yeah. We, sidetracked it from, by the way...
Hey, it's all good, though. Because these guys got plenty to listen to on that. There's some good shit
in there. Oh, yeah. There's plenty of advice, and, it's like, oh, I didn't think of that.
Actually, Donny.
Yeah?
Let's get through this list.
Yeah,
and then maybe we'll give these viewers a live duel. Heard. Let's do it. All right. So when we left off, we were at the 3 Anubis. Yep. He can special summon himself from hand to grave. He searches your Man of Mark, which searches basically
everything.
All of your important stuff for the deck as far as spells and traps go. Now we have 1. Merciless Scorpion of Serket. This is a level 6 fairy, Earth attribute. It's special summon. It's an inherent one as well, to where you banish a level 10 or higher monster from your deck, and then he special summons to field. He has an on-field activated effect to search Temple of Kings. So, and that is another very important card in the deck.
Are you gonna tell them what it do?
We're gonna get to. We're almost there.
Almost.
Then we are running 3 of the field spell, Treasures of the King. This card's name becomes Temple of King while it's on field. When it's activated, it allows you to set an Apophis trap directly from your deck. And if you have a trap in your graveyard, or you control 2 or more cards in your spell and trap zones, you can search card that mentions Temple of Kings, which is super important.
Absolutely.
Now, like I said, we run the one of, which is Temple of Kings, the continuous spell, the OG one, and that is what Merciless Scorpion of Serket searches, which technically Man of the Mark can search this as well, which is really good. Because when you activate this card, and while it's face up on the field, you can activate one trap that was set this turn. Which in turn, you would activate whatever trap that you set off of Treasure of the Kings whenever it was activated.
Yep.
Which the answer should always be Apophis the Serpent.
Now, what if that's not always the...
Personally, then I would just go Swamp Deity. Because if that's not the answer, then that either means that you have it set already, or it's in your graveyard, which gives... I'll explain this in a second. It does a few things. But whenever it is activated, it is special summoned as a normal monster. It's a reptile, earth, level 4, 1600 attack, and 1800 defense. But this card is also still a trap. Then, once it's summoned, you can set one trap from your deck except for Apophis the Serpent, which is itself. Yeah, that's the good part of this card. The card that you set that turn from this effect can also be activated. Now, here, personally, because of my build, so, yeah, you're running the 2 of the Serpent, and then you run 2 of this Apophis the Swamp Deity, and then 1 Embodiment. Because of the graveyard effect of a Serpent. So, when this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add... Rephrase. Let me read. It's right in front of me.
Yeah.
Typical Yu-Gi-Oh player not reading his cards.
That's the type that
Yeah.
we hope to kill at some point.
At some point, because we are reading right now. So you add 1 embodiment of Apophis to your hand.
So that would be the vanilla.
Yep, that's the vanilla that you run the 1 of. Now, the vanilla doesn't have an effect. It just summons as a normal monster with like 1800 defense. It's the OG.
That's still the effect.
Yeah, well, I mean, it doesn't have any other
Additional.
like inherent like condition or inherent effects to it. It's just
It
just summons as a body. Now, Swamp Deity, it does a little more. It summons itself as a body, but then I can target cards up to the number of other face-up continuous traps. So it doesn't count itself. It has to be different one.
And I'm going to be the judge here and say you do not target. It is a non-target.
Oh, is it a non-target? That is also my bad.
Nope, you're good. So it is a non-targetable negate to whatever cards are activating on the field, or what aren't being activated to stop the player from really playing the game, because that's what you aim to do in most decks.
Yep.
You aim to stun your opponent as much as possible. That way you get the turn and possibly OTK.
Which means 1 turn kill.
Yes.
But and then the last trap for the main engine that we're running is Verdict of Anubis. It is a counter trap that does. Oh, go ahead.
Before he continues, another thing with the Swamp Deity, it only negates up to the amount of continuous traps that you control on the field.
And that does not include itself.
Yes.
So it has to be other named continuous traps.
They're fine. Reading.
I don't think it can be itself.
If it says other than Swamp Deity, then yes, it has to be other. But if it's just him, you're fine.
Then you can get it back. The number of other continuous traps control. So it's just other continuous traps I control.
Okay, so it has to be other. It doesn't have to be specifically.
Yep. It just can't. It can't be the one you're activating.
Right. Is it spells or traps?
Just traps. Continuous traps.
Okay.
Now,
which you do have a lot on either field or in the back, depending on the...
Yeah. Which, honestly, in this deck can add up.
It can add up. It can definitely exhaust itself.
Yeah, it can.
A little bit, but that's where Engraver, the Anubis shuffle, and you're just... You never deck out. That's the best part about this deck. You never deck out.
Never. You can't mill... Unless you can, like, mill me for, like, 20 cards a turn.
I was more so going for the...
Oh, no. No. We're not doing that again.
Listen, I've had my pick, alright?
Listen, our friends over at Team Dark Magic Attack on YouTube play at locals with us. And my man Joe, that night, I am telling you, he brought the most disgusting stun deck I have ever played against. Had the most degenerate smile I've ever seen. And damn it made me happy. Until it was my turn. He's just like, oh yeah, you can't do anything. Because that's really what it was for me. Like, I just was like, pass turn?
For the viewers at home, if you do not know what Runic is, it is basically
It's a really good stun deck.
It's a good stun deck, and it also says bye-bye to your opponent's deck. For most of the cards, they banish off the top of your opponent's deck. It doesn't banish specifically. However, some of the cards do destroy and or banish. But mainly, the main goal for Runic is they are looking to either deck you out or make you run out of resources and either search or do anything. That's your correct response.
Yeah, that's how we feel about that.
And once you're done with your portion,
oh yeah,
I'm gonna take over.
Oh yeah, you can take Beans. But the last card in the engine is Verdict of Anubis. It's a counter trap, and it's probably the best card in this deck.
A hard trap to necessarily set to the field because it's more so looking at it.
It is.
Because how often are you setting?
A lot more than you think.
Really? How are you setting?
Honestly, so I just gave you an example earlier of how I can get man with the mark. Mm-hmm. But generally, I try to save him for the end of my combo, and then you just search with man with the mark, because this mentions Temple of King. So I do get it. Now, there are a lot of times I do have to sacrifice this and search out the field spell, or Temple, which is fine. But this card reads, for everybody listening, when your opponent activates a spell or trap card, while you control 3 or more other spells or traps, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. Then if you control Temple of the Kings, you can destroy as many monsters your opponent controls as possible. Then inflict damage to your opponent equal to half of the original attack of those destroyed monsters. And you can only activate one of these per turn.
Right.
Now, the thing that makes this really hard to... it's funny. To counter is it's a counter trap.
Yeah.
Not too many decks besides, like, Labyrinth. Does Dynamorphia run one? I know they're pretty trap heavy.
No, they do run some counter traps, but Labyrinth, at the most, are running.
Oof. And that does hurt.
It does.
It does.
But but really Judgment is the only thing that stops that. Because if it were Strike or Warning, it don't work. Because it has to be either monster effect For Solemn Strike specifically, it has to be either a monster effect or an effect special summon. So, with that being said, if Solemn Strike is already set to your opponent's field and you activate one of your Apophis traps, you special itself, that is an effect. Cool, pay 1,500.
Yep.
And destroy it. Or,
It's happened.
yeah. Or,
It hurts.
if.
Kinda sucks.
Or, weirdly. I mean, it's good, but.
Not so much.
Well, no, the next card I'm about to talk about is Solemn Warning. It stops a summon of, I believe, any type as long as you pay 2,000. So,
yeah.
In addition to your special summon, on resolution of the summon, if your opponent does not have anything in regards to that, I believe, on resolution of any summon of his, let's say, special summon of traps, or if he normal summon and with a mark. Cool. Solemn Warning. The summon is negated by paying 2,000. The summon is negated, and therefore that card does go to the.
Oh yeah,
because that's how that.
Mm-hmm. It's the same thing with Kane's deck. Tachyon Transmitigation. Yeah, that's what it is. But they can activate that from their hand.
That's the thing with
that is the difference, correct? You can't activate Solemn Warning.
No, it must be said.
But the Tachyon card is specific to Tachyon.
Yeah, specific.
You can't just throw that in anything. Say, oh look, I have a Solemn Warning in my hand.
However, the difference is if you are running Tachyon in your extra deck, because it requires or specifically. I'm not sure if it's specifically specifies Tachyon Dragon number 107, but if you run it, you can definitely play Transmigration. For the folks at home, Tachyon Transmigration is a track. You can activate it from the hand as long as you control Tachyon, either a Tachyon XEs or Tachyon number 107. I would have to look at the card text. But you can activate it from the hand as long as you control said monster. With that being said, if your opponent does not have, say, Solemn Judgment, everything within the same chain, because it has to be a chain of 2 or higher, everything in that chain will be negated regardless. It negates the whole chain. That is Transmigration. And it's actually scary for Tachyon to have something like that, along with the new card coming that came out of Maze of the Masters with 7th Tachyon, which obviously it was made for the deck because 7th, and just more so
Tachyon. I mean, it says it right there.
Yeah, but what people weren't expecting to be used with it was yugioh. Obviously, you just reveal a number 101 to 107, and you search the attribute and type or attribute and level of said rank monster. But you are locked into Xyz for the rest of the turn. Some decks basically can run around it, but no, I mean, you're locked into Xyz specifically.
Yeah, and that's all yugioh does.
That's what yugioh does, but take into account, say, Dogmatica. They can run around it.
Yeah, they can.
Because all they do is special summon from the hand, or they ritual summon.
Yeah.
Because that's not an extra deck kind of thing, because that's what Tachyon specifies.
Did you see it's getting a new fusion card?
I did. Rick showed me that, but it was specifically more so for branded archetype.
It is.
It's good in the sense. For the folks at home, there's a new branded fusion. It is by far what I would say is a very tactical. at best. It's quirky, it's tacky. I don't think it would run good. My personal preference, I've ran branded for a little while before I actually got some of the more used cards, like Sanctifier. I never had a Sanctifier until I pulled one out of the 2022 Pharaoh thing, or Pharaoh of the God.
Yeah,
I don't want to.
it was. Yeah, it had the 3 god slabs on it.
Yeah.
I tried branded for like a week. I just didn't like it.
I liked it because it was featured on the game. That's all I have to. Now I just do just whatever I want.
Yeah, same here.
But
shout out Minimagools. Well, I mean, actually, I shouldn't say that.
Minimagools might. When I have no idea, but future support, I could.
I don't know though, man. It's a TCG exclusive. They generally only get like the first set and then a wave of support, and they're done.
I mean, that happened with the Dark Souls archetype, which is the Ashen archetype.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I figured out. But yeah, that's what happened with the Ashen archetype. Cool archetype. Really, it had a nice gimmick to it, and it was really cool. It got a big wave of support for a little while, and it was cool. Is it good now? Is it good now? No, I wouldn't say. A lot of YouTubers have backed that same statement up. Like, yeah, it's good if you want to take it to locals and be a little quirky. God, Lord,
it's that old roof.
That is heavy.
We actually might have to wrap this one up. That microphone might pick all this up.
And we weren't even done with your deck.
Yeah, well, we still kind of speed run through the deck. See what this rain does. We'll give it a second here. Maybe you guys just have some white noise. But for the rest of the deck, at least that I'm going to explain here real quick, we have one statue of Anguish Pattern. It's continuous trap. You'll summon it as I think it's a level 5. Or no, this is a level 7 with 0 attack, 2500 defense. If summoned this way, this card cannot be targeted by an opponent's card effect while you control another trap that is a monster. And if there is a card special summoned from your spell and trap zone to the monster zone, while this card is a monster, you can target one card on the field and destroy it. So it's another good pop. And then my personal spice tech for the deck is 2 copies of Eldritch the Golden Lord. That's for multiple reasons.
Please do explain to the viewers why.
So, one, I love this card. But mainly, so while he is in your hand, while your opponent controls, well, actually, no, you don't. As long as there's a card on the field for you to target, and you have a spell or a trap in your hand, you can activate his effect. You target the card that you're going to discard along with Eldritch for cost.
So you send
them both to graveyard.
It's not a target in hand. So as long as you have a viable target in your hand, like any spell, it's generic. Yeah, it's any spell or trap. Doesn't matter what it is. You discard Eldritch and said spell or trap to the graveyard, and then you specifically target one card on your opponent's
face-up card.
One face-up card on your opponent's field, and you destroy it, correct?
Yes.
Or does it get set?
No, it's destroyed.
Okay. You play Eldritch a lot, so you would have a better...
Yeah. So then while he's in the grave, and you have a card in the spell or trap zone, you can activate his effect, target any card in your spell or trap zone, you destroy it, then you can add Eldritch the Golden Lord from your graveyard to your hand.
This is all one effect.
Yes. Then you can choose one zombie monster in your hand, special summon it, but it gains 1,000 attack, and it can't be destroyed by card effects until the end of your opponent's turn.
Right. So, with that being said, you explained his type.
He is a level 10 light zombie. So, by himself, if you summon him this way from your hand, he'll be on field with 3,500 attack. Plus, he can't be destroyed by card effects.
Yeah.
So, he's basically just, kind of a
beefy boy.
Yeah, he's a beefy body on field that you can kind of just have there to protect you for a turn. But with the other cards in the deck, like Anubis, which is a level 10 Earth Fiend, and then we also have another card that I'll let Donny explain. But it's Lord of the Heavenly Prison. It's a level 10 rock that is pretty easily summoned with this deck.
Yep.
And basically, you can just use. I have 2 cards in extra deck. Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Max. It's a level 10 machine. You detach 1 Exceed material from it, and then you can hit your opponent for 2,000 burn damage.
If you don't say burn, players at home might be like, oh, Lord, it just gets beefy?
Yeah. No, well, it does get beefy, technically.
It gets beefy, but that's with another Xyz, and we'll get into that later.
Yes.
So, I'll be taking over here. So, with the other card in his engine. So, going from Verdict of Anubis, going into Eldritch is his spice. Going from Verdict all the way down to what we have mentioned with Man of the Mark, Judgment of Anubis, and all his spells and traps. That is the main core. What he's doing for spice is Eldritch. Eldritch is fine. I personally think it's alright. He's able to run.
It's a good tech.
If he's able to run rank 10s, let the man have his way. Along with another level 10, which would be Lord of the Heavenly Prison. He is a level 10 dark rock monster. So, with another card in the deck that we will explain later, he is searchable by any means necessary. But his effect reads, if you have him in the hand, you can reveal him. For the remainder of your turn and your at the end phase of your opponent's turn, he will be unrevealed. But while he's revealed, all your spells and traps that you have on the field cannot be destroyed by card effects by any means necessary. It's not a once per turn like Man with the Mark, which he protects his Temple of the Kings, his field spell, and his Apophis monster. Specifically, his Apophis monster. If you have these Apophis monsters set, they have no name, they can easily be destroyed. But they can easily be special summoned. And if a trap is activated by either player, you can special summon him, and if he was revealed when he was special summoned, you can set 1 trap of any kind, counter, continuous, or normal, from your deck. It cannot be activated that turn, unfortunately. He's a 3k beat stick with a defense of 3k. Sound good to you?
Oh, yeah.
Is there anything else you want to add to that?
I mean, the reveal set's nice. Easily searched, which we'll get into in a little honestly, if you're playing back row heavy decks, that is a great card. Like, it's almost mandatory at this point.
Just about. Well, for any heavy back row decks, yeah. It's definitely. But with his reveal effect, if a trap card is activated, you can still special summon him from the hand if you don't reveal. But you lose out on setting a trap. I don't know.
Yes, I do.
Oh, you did know about that?
It's come up.
Okay. For the other side engine he's playing is the Fiendsmith. Now, if any good duelist knows the ratios, you know what's coming and you know its effects. So he's running 3 Fiendsmith engravers. It's a level 6 light fiend with 18 attack, 24 defense. His effects are: if you discard him from the hand, you search one spell or trap that mentions Fiendsmith, and you add it to the hand. While he's engraved, you can shuffle one light fiend from the grave back into the deck, special summon. And if he has a, I believe it's only a link monster that's equipped to him, you can target one. That
It has to be Requiem.
has to be Requiem.
Well, I mean, you could use Agnum Day.
You could
use technically.
You could use that. No, Agnum Day is more specific to the field.
I guess yeah, it is.
So,
but sequence can't be targeted.
He can't be targeted. Sequence can.
I thought Ricky told me something.
No. So sequence makes the monster that.
Yeah, I know it makes the monster that it can't be targeted.
This can.
Well, then that's fair.
I mean, if you want to reread it.
No, I believe you. I might have just misheard him, or just don't remember correctly.
So
that's specific.
Yeah. Interaction. But you target the equip card that you have on engraver, and one card your opponent controls, send them both to the graveyard, which is a great remove, I should say. I mean, it still targets at the end of the day. If it was a non-target, that'd be even better.
If it was a non-target, he'd definitely have never dodged a ban list.
For the other card, he is playing one Lacrima, Crimson Tears. She is treated as a Fiendsmith card. Her effect reads: if she is normal or special summon, you can dump one Fiendsmith card, specifically one card. It does not mean spell, trap, or monster specific. It is any card that lists Fiendsmith, dump to the graveyard. For her secondary effect, it would be on opponent's turn. While you have her and a Fiendsmith Link monster in the graveyard, shuffle her back, you can special summon that Link monster. And the one honorary Fiendsmith will be Fabled Lurry. He is not a Fiendsmith. He is a light level 1 fiend with 200 attack, 400 defense. But his effect reads: if this card is discarded, you can special summon it. It is a non-once per turn, which is stupid. So if you have more ways of shuffling it back and getting it back to your hand, you get bodies, which is
really funny, actually.
And he's not limited or semi-limited by any means. He is unlimited.
You know, I was for sure that if they were going to hit Fiendsmith,
it'd be Lurry along with.
See, I don't know that they'll hit Moon. I mean, I know it's a great bridge. It's basically the generic bridge.
My thought process is like they might, if they don't hit Lurry, it would have to be closed. Because if they don't hit close, they have to hit Lurry. That's where the.
But I'm saying I think they would want to hit Fiendsmith more directly.
If it's not directly, it's indirectly.
Because seriously, like, you don't really see too many people actually using her Moon's other effect to go into like under. Like, you just don't see it much.
You don't.
It's kind of sad.
And that's all she's really used for, is being light fiend. Think too. If you get any two effect bodies on the field, you instantly have Fiendsmith combo. If you're not blocked by any extra deck or whatever.
Yeah, things like Malice, you get locked into Cybers.
Malice does not block you. I reread the cards. I thought they did. A few cards do lock these Cybers. That being Splash.
Yeah.
Or
Splash Mage.
Yeah. But them specifically, they lock you in. So, yes, being able to go into sequence and then, Requiem, and then go into sequence them sounds nice. You just which is a huge downside. So you would have to start with Fiendsmith first. Yeah, but it's all working.
It's generally how those. I mean, it's kind of how I saw that going anyway.
For the spells, he's running one Fiendsmith track. Track specifically lists search one light fiend from your deck, then discard any card from your hand to the graveyard. Which your search target is always going to be Fable Lurie. If it's any other thing, you're playing the deck one.
Or you already had Lurie in your hand.
That too. Its graveyard effect is you can banish it and fusion summon one Fiendsmith monster by using the materials from field, specifically from field. Which, if you really have to use track, again, you're doing it. But with the support, it's not a bad choice to have in. And then for the trap for the Fiendsmith in Paradise, for Fiendsmith is Fiendsmith in Paradise. This trap specifically reads, you can activate this, target one level 7 light fiend that you control, and then send everything else but that fiend to the graveyard. So it's a good board way. Another one would be its graveyard effect.
So good.
You can banish it from your graveyard, and then send
on a special summon.
On a special summon. Yeah, that's right. It's a trigger effect. So on a special summon, you can banish this card from your graveyard, send one Fiendsmith monster from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard. And that will eventually trigger
Desiree.
Yeah, you'll send Desiree. Desiree's effect will just basically spot it.
And it sends one light fiend back to deck or extra deck.
Oh, shut up. Yeah, that's right. Now for the non-engine that he's playing is 2 Ash Blossoms.
You can just give a general. This card, Ash Blossom basically stops your opponent from searching from cards from their main deck. Special summoning. It's basically a generic. I don't want you to have this card right now.
It prevents the player from actually touching the deck by any means necessary. So, the 3 things that Ash can actually hit is either dumping something to the grave, special summon from the deck, or adding a card from deck to hand. That being by draw effect, or actually adding a hyper-specific card from deck to hand. Which is hilarious. Especially with the draw. Mm-hmm. So, he's also running 2 Nibs. Nib is a board breaker by itself. It's also a hand trap at the same time. It tributes all monsters on the field and special summons itself and one token with the combined attack and defense of all monsters that were tributed by its effect.
After your opponent's 5th special or normal summon.
Right, which this hit through.
Yes, it did.
And we
rightfully so.
We love the rain. And he is also a level 11 light rock, which can move. In this specific, he can't be searched by any other means.
But it's still great that I can do it on demand. I love it.
For the rest, he's playing 2 Ghost Ogres. Ghost Ogre is while the card is still face up on the field and activates, you basically pitch her and destroy that card. Which is, it's somewhat good for this format, but at the same time, it's not good. It's more so a side deck option, if any.
Honestly, in this current format, yes.
So you got to be very specific on how you side your deck. If you're looking for a crossout target that your deck kind of hinders to, she'd be a good crossout target. We'll get to that card in a minute. He's playing 2 Droll and Lockbird. He just prevents you from touching the deck after you either add a card to your hand by any means necessary, drawing or adding. And that is on resolution after they draw.
It also affects you too, though.
Both
players.
It's both players until the end of the turn. Which, at the time, Snake Eyes could.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't like Snake Eyes.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about it, even though we're both building it.
The newer staple that everybody's been picking up, he is playing 2 Fugaros, and that's only because he does not have a third. Otherwise, it would be 3 in this deck. Fugaros, you can pitch it, and it has the effect of you draw every time your opponent's special summons from the deck or from the extra deck. And when you activate that, you can activate a second Mulcharmy name, specifically a Mulcharmy name. So if you have 2 of this in the hand, you can pitch both and draw like double the card. And then at the end phase, you shuffle back however many cards your opponent controls plus 6. For 6 cards. However you. So it's a healthy kind of max. Well, you also don't think.
Nobody likes max.
So for the spells, he is playing 2, or yeah, 2. It may as well be. He's playing the 1 Crossout Designator, which is a quick play spell. If your opponent activates a card that you don't like that you run, which would be like generically any hand trap or spell or anything like that, you basically declare the name, banish it. Anything activated on the field, in graveyard, or in hand is negated, and it can't. Neither player can use that card's effect for the rest of the turn.
That should have, they could have hit that. That would have been fine.
I would have been alright with that.
Seriously, I mean that like genuinely. 2 would have been like the sweet spot for crossout.
I think it would have been alright.
It's fair.
But that's also saying like putting that.
I wouldn't argue with that either.
I don't think anybody would argue with that.
No,
but these cards are semi-limited, so work with us for the time being for the rest of the spells. So after crossout, he's running the 1 call by and the 1 talents. Call by is just a secondary crossout designator with a different effect though. It must be engraved. You target 1 card your opponent has activated, like say any hand trap, except for impermanence and purge. It'd be any monster. So target 1 monster your opponent has in their graveyard, banish it. Its effects are negated for 2 turns. defeats the whole purpose of hitting crossout. But will we ever see crossout back?
I think we could.
Debatable. If the format gets really crazy after that has the end Justice Hunters.
Justice Hunters, yeah.
I feel like if Justice Hunters right out of the box gets really crazy, I would say crossout designator, but at 2, if 3.
I would jump up and down for joy.
Me too.
About it. Dude, I would be so fucking happy about that. For real.
I think after Duelist is what I would look forward to. I'm pulling a rig. Canines is going to be like a really strong deck.
Oh, it is.
Kind of up.
Yummy is hilarious. And just because I apparently love to make people really fucking angry with level 1s, I'm doing my thing, Donny. Now, honestly, though, I might pick up the canine shit.
Canine looks cool. It looks like a werewolf type XYZ deck.
Yeah.
Rank 5.
Yes.
I've never heard anything.
Yeah.
There's a lot of rank 4 support. I've never seen any rank 5 support.
Well, I mean, rank 5 is where you get into, like, I don't know, it's not as easy to spam summon.
Yeah.
Because if you really look at it, that's, even my Mimigulls, they do the same thing, just different extra deck setup. Like, I just spam a bunch of fucking monsters and create a bunch of fucking,
Think about it.
Like Yugioh.
Think about this. You know there's cards that can level.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Red?
I don't like where you're going with that. It's like, nobody's gonna like whenever I say, you're playing Yummy Ghouls today.
I mean, it doesn't work because one card. Because Soul specifically. Soul and Crimson specifically. Dark. Which is unfortunate. But if there was ever a chance, I would take it. For the other card that I mentioned, Triple Tactic Talent, it is a combined
Choice.
It's a choice.
One of the 3.
It's a choice, but it's a combine of Pot of Greed, Forceful Sentry, and Change of Heart. But the Change of Heart effect is not a target.
Which is gross.
It is gross. But it's good if you use it in specific scenario. This can only be it's a normal spell that can only be activated if your opponent used a monster effect that turn. But it can't be used from the hand whenever you want to because there's some you that think, oh, because you activated that effect, I can use this on your turn. Nope. If not banned.
Yeah, I was gonna say it would have been banned. Spell, dude. There ain't no way it would have survived.
To round up the spells, he's playing 1 Terraforming. Terraforming is basically his 4th copy of the field spell that he's running in. What deck is this again?
Odeon P.
This is basically his 4th copy. It searches any field spell that you need if he doesn't already have it because to round up the non-engine, he's playing two normal traps. He's playing Infinite Impermanence, which you should bump it up with 3. Infinite Impermanence is just the best overall trap to use for game. Now, disregarding the impulses and
That's the best hand trap in the game.
Yeah, it's the best hand trap in the game minus the impulses. or the dominant spell. The card reads, you can target one card your opponent controls. Sorry, target one monster that your opponent controls negates its effect. But it has a secondary if it was already set that turn in that column that it was activated in. All spells and traps would be negated. It does not specify that monsters and spells get negated in the column that you play it in. It is all just spells and traps that were to be played in that column. And a few people, just like myself, have played into that.
Wait, is that middle column? No! The realization hits you.
Yeah!
Hurts.
Yeah, it hurt. Yeah, that's rounding up the main deck though. Casey, take it away for the extra deck.
So, for extra deck, about 25% of this is dedicated to Fiendsmith.
No, I thought it was 40. This is 30.
No, I meant just extra deck. But, we're playing the One Moon of the Closed Heaven. It's a link to, it only requires 2 effect monsters. So, pretty generic. It has an effect to where, an activated effect to where it can use a monster that, in a zone that it points to use it for link material for a link 5 or higher. But we don't do that here. If we do that, we actually just link it off, because it's a light fiend, into our Fiendsmith's Requiem. It has a quick effect to tribute itself, and then it can summon a Fiendsmith card from hand or deck, which is whenever you would go into your Lacrima of the Crimson Tears, and then her effect to dump a Fiendsmith card of your choosing to grave, which is either normally the trap or it is Engraver. Because the trap is honestly just kind of handy.
It's a little quirky, but more so whenever you're going into Requiem, going into the Fiendsmith combo, you are not going for that trap effect.
I'll get to it in a second, which I'll explain. But generally after, and then you have your Fiendsmith sequence. This allows you to, on an activated effect, you shuffle back 3 light fiend monsters to either your deck or extra deck to fusion summon a Fiendsmith fusion card, which is when you go into Fiendsmith's Desiree, which we are running the one of. This card, while it has a Fiendsmith card equipped to it, it can negate cards up to the total link rating of those cards equipped to him. But not to get this confused, it's not so. If you equip your Fiendsmith sequence, goddamn, that is a tough word to say. Fiendsmith's sequence, like, dude, imagine Mike Tyson saying that. It's terrible. But we'll say our sequence, it's a link to, so you would have a total of 2 Omni negates. But you can't just activate and negate once and then activate again. If you activate to negate, you have to target 2 cards right then and there. Yes. Yep. But that's all you get. You can't go back and use the other one later. Now, we're also running the Link 3, which is Fiendsmith's Agnum Day. I don't know.
I'm sorry. I'm still on the Fiendsmith
See, Mike Tyson. I summon Fiendsmith sequence. It's terrible. But this card requires 2 monsters, including a light fiend monster. Once per turn, quick effect, you can target a light fiend monster in your graveyard, special summon it, and if you do, equip this card you control to that monster as an equipped spell with the following effects. The equipped monster gains the attack equal to the total link rating of link monsters equipped to it. Small text. Yeah, it's equipped to it. The second effect reads: if the equipped monster attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage in your to your opponent.
And this is also including itself. Agnum backrows itself, special summons Desert.
Yes.
With the add-on effect with every equipped Beansmith link.
Yeah. So you can still generally at that point, because you linked sequence off, you didn't use its effect, but you can use it in your grave to equip the Desiree as well. Yep. Then it also gains the effect where it can't be targeted, plus that puts it up at a total of 5 Omni negates. I don't know. A really good player? Yes, but can you imagine how funny that would be? Dude, imagine, like, that would be
How are you letting it get that?
I don't know. But, right now, until I find my other one, we're going to proxy it. We're going to go, we have 2 Divine Serpent Apophis. This is a great card, because while you have Temple of Kings on field, you can contact use it with 2 cards that mention Temple of Kings or are Apophis Trap. So, contact fusing is fusion summoning without using anything like a spell card, like polymerization or anything of that sort. So it's contact fusion, to put it lightly, is almost like link summoning. You just have to have the required materials on field, tribute to summon from extra deck. Well, I guess it is sending it to grave for tribute.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the other nice effect of this card is it can set up to 2 Apophis traps from your graveyard. So you can actually use your Apophis trap monsters to contact fuse into this card, and then just set the 2 cards that you used for its summon back on field. Like, it's so dumb. Well, you literally just activate, contact fuse, set them right back. It's that, like, whoever thought of that, I love them.
That's great.
Oh, another
reset.
Any engrave.
Oh, any. Okay. So
yeah.
For viewers at home that probably question the same thing, if they're still new.
Yeah.
It's hyper specific that you do mention that it is only a Apophis traps.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it is only Apophis traps. Yeah, you can't just like use an imperm and then reset it. Now, I will say with Anubis, his special summon, you can send an imperm back to deck for his special summon inherent effect.
Is it?
Yeah, in order to be able to special summon him, you just have to have the 3 names.
Right.
But you just have to have any 2 traps in there to send back.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's not hyper specific.
Nope. I can send back Verdict. I can send back Imperm. I can send back the Ruma Cannon. I can send back Dominus Purge if I had one.
Because he's playing the budget.
Yes. This is a more budget friendly, but it's still very strong.
It's very strong, just kind of like not right out of the box because this is.
No, this
Structure deck.
This is well. This is yeah. Another card I should technically put in here as an honorary mention for Fiendsmith is our DDD Wave High King Caesar.
But are we doing?
Yes. I mean, he requires the 2 Fiend monsters, which is... If I didn't have Fiendsmith in here, I wouldn't have that.
What would you have? Which Fiendsmith at this time, because it got reprinted in
If I didn't have Fiendsmith in here...
So, if the viewers at home can't afford the Fiendsmith engine because, well, the spell card, Lacrimon, and Sequence Requiem went up in price, what would be a better option?
Honestly,
For main deck and action.
so we'll do that. We'll get into, honestly, how to make this deck more budget friendly right after I finish up, because the rest of the extra deck won't take but a minute. And I'll even tell you what I would sub out for what.
Are we also going to rank them?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we can go over some pros and cons of what we're doing here.
Okay.
So we explained it here a little while ago, but Super Dreadnought, Rail Cannon, Gustav Max. It's a great burn, but it's really here for Super Dreadnought, Rail Cannon, Juggernaut, Leave.
Which at that point, you may as well just be say Juggernaut.
This guy makes himself 6,000 attack, and he just runs into your stuff until you die.
Hold on. For the viewers at home, how does he get 2 6,000?
Just a detach a material.
There you go.
Yes. To be very specific, you have to detach a material once he's special summoned over Gustav Max, and then he'll gain 2,000 attack. He's the only monster allowed to attack that turn, too.
Which does, he can overlay any level for rank 10. Is it machine only, or?
One rank 10 machine, XYZ monster, yeah.
Okay, so because if it was any rank 10, could you imagine with
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Dude, people would...
Lord have mercy.
That would be so gross.
But yeah, any rank 10 machine monster you can get on the field, you can get out.
But the main reason these are in extra is because I decided to add 2 copies of Eldritch to add 2 more level 10s to make these rank 10s.
A little bit more efficient.
Yeah, it's a little more efficient, and Eldritch just synergizes with the deck because it revolves around floodgates and traps, and it's great. Eldritch forever.
Golden Land forever.
And then a good card, which actually is pretty damn cheap now. I'm actually about to order myself a collector rare. But Super Star Slayer, Typhon, Sky Crisis. We might have to talk about a trade here today. Basically, if your opponent special summon 2 or more monsters out of their extra deck the turn before yours, you can choose your highest attack monster, and if there's a tie between 2 of them, you just get to choose one of those.
But what is its summoning besides the preview or overlay one?
You have to. I just said you have to summon more than your opponent had to have summoned more than 2 monsters out of the extra deck.
Oh, I didn't follow.
It's all good, buddy. But then he has an effect to detach 1 to bounce a card off field, which is nasty. He also has the effect that I gotta make sure I read this correctly.
Got confused because I put the collector.
Yeah, I really did. I was looking at shiny cardboard. I got distracted.
Like a moth to the flame.
I really am. But yeah, monsters that have 3,000 or more attack can't activate their effects while he's face up on the field. Now, he does have a drawback. The turn you summon him, you
kind of gay. I just
Oh no, I'm
realized that.
sorry. It does specify normal. You can't summon at all then.
Okay.
So that is correct. That is his drawback, though. But otherwise, it's a really good, cheap tech for just about anything right now.
In reference to super. In reference to his 3,000 or more attack, it's basically referencing Zeus because Zeus was a big thing before this card actually dropped its thumb to the form.
Yeah. And he only has 2,900 attack.
Which Zeus can easily beat over him, but what effect is he activating?
Yeah.
But anything 3,000 or more, it's basically a skill drain for monsters that are over 3,000. Anything like 2,900 or less can still be activated. Which it's a downside, but you gotta work with your pros and cons.
You do. You really do. Up next we have Gallant Granite. This is a level 4 rock earth exceed monster. You can detach a material from him, and then you can add one rock monster from your deck to your hand. So for me, my options are Nibiru the Primal Being, which is Great Hand Trap, or Lord of the Heavenly Prison, which protects my back row.
But Casey, how are you making it?
A lot of ways. So I have done it with Man of the Mark and Lacrima of the Crimson Tears because they're both level 4s. I've actually used I've used the new Apophis Trap and the vanilla OG Apophis Trap to make him. And the best thing about it too is, so once you summon Gallant Granite, and say you either get your Nib or you get your Lord of the Heavenly Prison, it's kind of just chilling there. You can use him to link off into Silhouette Hat Rabbit, which is great.
How would you feel, Casey? How would you feel if you went into Gallant Granite? I'm playing a very heavy combo deck with a lot of specials. Would you feel if at the start of the turn, at the start of my turn in main phase, I drop Salesman and call Nib?
I mean, I would be pretty upset, but I would still just search my Lord of Heavenly Prison because he's pretty nice too.
Yeah,
Reveal set one of my choosing. A set verdict.
If you felt like you were gonna do some fun shit and I had to play around Nib, only end on like what 4 summons or whatever, and then I just play Salesman and just like combo off and beat the shit out of you, how would you feel?
That would hurt my feelings. I'm not gonna lie about that. That would suck ass.
Or Prohibition. Oh, that hurts.
That's not. Don't do that.
Prohibition, for the people at home, Prohibition and Salesman basically have the same thing. One's a continuous, the other one's a
It can. Not great.
Oh, okay.
Don't do that. But we have Silhouette Hat Rabbit. This is a good card for this deck specifically because when it is special or when it's link summoned, you can set a trap that summons itself as a monster from your deck to field. And then on the opponent's turn, whenever you summon one of your traps, it has a trigger effect to pop a card on field. This deck, on your end board, generally looks like a bunch of pops and possibly some negates, depending on how good your hand is.
And depending on your time as well.
Yeah, that too.
That's a huge thing.
Then we run the Link Spider. That way we can, if we need to, we can link off one of our trap monsters and turn it into an effect monster for more link summoning for cards like our SP Little Knight. Which also give SP Little Knight the effect on summon to banish. Because we used a link monster.
use SP with just your main deck normal monsters, she does not get the banish effect. It must be one
The on summon bit.
the on summon ban. You must use a extra deck monster for that banish effect. So that could be the variety of Link, Fusion, Xyz, and Sync. Go on, tell us about her secondary effect.
So she has a secondary effect. Another thing about the on summon banish, you cannot attack directly that turn.
You can still attack, but you cannot attack directly.
Yeah, so if there's monsters, go for it. But if your only option is to attack directly, no. Just no. You're not allowed.
Better be OTKing with just one monster to another monster.
Yeah. Only real drawback of SP. I mean, it's great spot removal though. But her other effect, when is it just a card effect activated? Or yeah. When a card effect is activated, she has a quick effect to target. Is it one on your field, one on the opponent's field to banish for the turn?
Yep. 2 target.
So, and the targeting is cost.
What is the target?
You generally just target SP and just whatever is not really jiving with you on your opponent's field. No, it's 2 monsters.
I didn't know if you.
Yeah, it's 2 you target 2 monsters for cost.
Usually it would be either SP herself and one other opposing monster that could oppose a threat, like maybe their boss monster or something like that, that would pose a threat to threat you. Or it doesn't always have to be SP. It could be one other monster that gains an effect when it's banished, like banish Crypto.
Yeah.
Crypto gets its effect. You pay the 900, and her attack is double.
Yeah.
With the field spell, you must attack it. Ooh, you didn't think about that.
I did not.
I kind of came up with that on the fly, but yeah, it's pretty detrimental. But with her only being 16, anything, well, just about can swing. And
Just about.
And you don't have to fall into SP's effect. You can literally normal summon and say, I don't activate effect, go into battle, swing over. As long as it's something over 600.
Indeed. But, we got like hour and 48, so I'm going to cut this recording. If we want to do a live duel still, I'll just start another one. Because that's a lot of editing in one sit. Oh no, this is good shit. Oh yeah. But with that, everybody, that was my take right now on Fiendsmith Odeon. Tune back in here with us for our live duel episode, and at the end of that, I'm going to go over some more budget-friendly options for this deck, because, like we said earlier, Fiendsmith is a little salty. Odeon itself, the deck core went down pretty well, so that one's not too expensive. You can get most of it for probably about $50. Most of it.
I would have to. I might have to disagree because.
Well, actually, no.
They go up.
I guess they did. Yeah, I would probably say more than like the $60 to $70 range. But yeah. So with that one, we'll catch everybody on the next one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that fancy stuff. Tell everybody. And